Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim and this is Alistair.
Hello.
And we're at Big Bear Bikes in Pickering, North Yorkshire, North Yorkshire's biggest independent bike shop. And today we're going to be talking about all things Trek road bikes for 2024. So I thought a good place to start is that if people don't know Trek and they're thinking about buying a road bike, is just to explain the range. So there's 3 models, right? Yeah,
they do 3 key models in their road lineup. So Domane, which is kind of your endurance bike, a Monda, which is your lightweight climbing bike, and Moderne, which is kind of your aero, speed, all-out speed bike.
Fantastic. So if I'm thinking about doing long distances, I probably prioritise comfort.
Yeah.
If I'm climbing a lot, I probably want the lightest weight.
Yeah.
And actually, if I want the one that, in my opinion, looks the coolest,
yeah,
and on paper's the fastest,
yeah,
then it's probably that aerodynamic Trek Moderne.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So this, as you said, is Trek's Domane. Yeah. So just talk me through where Domane came from. Where's that concept come from? What's it for?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it actually came from the Paris-Roubaix. So if you don't know what that is, it's a race in Paris that races along the cobbles, so the old roads, and it's a real grueling race, really rough. Trek on their team, they raced that and they wanted to develop a bike that was going to give them a bit more comfort while still being fast on that race course, really. So they brought in some key features which make this bike good for, more of an endurance, comfortable bike to compete in that race, really.
So what have they done?
So the 3 main ones would be, they put a wider tyre on it as standard, so it comes with a 32C tyre. So that means you can actually run the tyre at a lower pressure, which is going to give you more comfort over little bumps and such like that.
And if you contrast that with another race bike?
Yeah, so a Monda, for example, comes standard with 25C tyres. Okay. So that's kind of the industry standard for kind of performance bikes at the minute. 25 up to 28 is kind of all-out speed. And then 30 and above is definitely giving you more comfort. Still fast rolling, but you can just run it at that softer pressure and it just absorbs the bumps a little bit better.
Okay, so tyres are one thing. What else have they done?
Start with tyres. If you don't know, Trek's got their own kind of, what the word would be.
It's like a proprietary system, isn't it?
Yes.
ISO speed.
ISO speed is what I'm getting at. Basically, they've developed a system that is like almost a shock absorber. So as you ride over a long ride, if you're on rough roads, it's basically going to reduce the vibrations that's coming through the bike. So between the top tube and the seat tube, they've made like a decoupler. So it doesn't work exactly like suspension, but it kind of gives a little bit of flex. So when you're on the rough stuff, it just smooths it out, really. So, put that into an 80-mile ride on some rough country roads,
or any English road,
you will feel that fatigue at the end of it. So that's definitely a key feature to making this a comfy bike.
Cool.
And then the last thing would be the geometry. So a Monda or Moderne, obviously they're more performance bikes. They put you in a performance position on the bike, quite low down, quite aggressive and fast. Whereas this bike, the front end is just sat up a little bit more, just so you're sat up in the saddle. You're not in that hunkered down position for a long ride potentially, so you're just going to be a bit comfier over a longer ride, really.
Fantastic. So who's buying this bike? What kind of riding is it for?
It's a real versatile bike nowadays, is this. You could honestly buy it for a lot of different categories. It could be simply the factor ride to work on. It could be your first bike and you just want to go to work on it, get a little bit of fitness. It could be if you want to get into road cycling and you want to do some club rides, maybe a sportif, get some, fitness, good group of mates, that sort of thing. And it's just a do-it-all road bike, really. It comes in aluminium and carbon, which we'll touch on, but so it's open to all price points. So you can get into it for like sub £1,000.
Really accessible.
Yeah, so that's another great reason. Also, if you just want a comfier bike, again, it's not going to be in that racy position. So if you're maybe getting older and you don't want to be in that racy position anymore, great reason to consider the Domane. Tyres as well. It has a lot of tyre clearance, does this bike, so you can actually get gravel tyres in it. So gravel is definitely a growing market, and some people might not want to invest in another bike just for gravel. Whereas if you want a one bike do it all kind of thing, this, put some gravel tyres in, opens that whole world up as well. And with the ISO speed acting as a little bit of a shock absorber, smoothing out the surface, if it is a gravel bike, it's going to be a comfy one as well.
So from commuting to social rides to club rides to my first sporty for the occasional bit of gravel, this bike's got that versatility.
Or as a winter bike, because the Emonda and the Moderne aren't mudguard compatible. So if you want to put mudguards on your bike in the winter, this is the only road bike that you can do that from Trek, so the Domane. So another reason why you might be buying it for a winter bike even.
The team at Trek tell us that most people should be buying the Domane if they're buying a road bike. And here in the shop, I mean, the Domane SL5, SL6 are by far the most popular road bikes, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So we'll get into the specs of this bike specifically in a minute, but just maybe talk me through the range. I mean, you mentioned there about materials earlier on. Where does the Domane range start and where does it go to?
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, you've got aluminium and carbon models. So it starts at AL2. So the Domane AL2 is your entry point into the aluminium frame, and you go all the way up to AL5. Okay. So as you go up the range, basically the components get nicer, bit lighter weight, better materials. And then in carbon fibre, it starts at SL5.
Okay.
Going on to carbon fibre actually, before I go too much into Trek, do different versions of carbon.
Okay.
So they do an SL carbon fibre and an SLR carbon, and the SLR is the premium one. It's got a better layup, which makes it lighter. So you'll find that in kind of the Tour de France, that sort of, the Halo events, they'll be on the SLR carbon fibre frames. It is more expensive, but SL still really nice, lightweight, but at that more accessible price point, you could say.
And in carbon then, have you got the same thing with the numbers? They're starting from a 5?
Yeah, so on carbon, so the SL, like I just said, there's SL5, SL6, what we've got here, and then you go to SL7, and then you can jump to SLR, so it's SLR6, SLR7, and they do an SLR9 as well, which is you're all singing, all dancing.
So there you go. So if you're buying your first road bike, the 3 things to take away there are AL aluminium, SL is the entry level or 500 series carbon fibre, and SLR the lightest weight, stiffest carbon fibre from Trek.
Yeah.
And then we're into specifications. So let's talk about this bike then. So this is the SL6 and it's the SL6 E-Tap, right?
It is, yeah. So this is a really nice bike actually. This is the Gen 4 version in this nice crimson paint. And yeah, like you've just called out, E-Tap. So if you don't know what E-Tap is, that's from SRAM and that's their wireless gears. So electric shifting on this bike, you'll find that on a lot of road bikes now at this sort of price point. Shimano do their own version, Di2, and then SRAM with E-Tap. So within E-Tap as well, there's a different range of that. If you know Shimano, you might know Shimano 105, Ultegra, Dura Ace. That's basically as you go up the hierarchy of their group set range, the materials get better. You might get carbon fibre, lighter products, but you can't discount the entry level of those because they are actually quite hard wearing materials as well. So definitely something not to be shy of. Really.
No, they're all superb quality, aren't they? At the end of the day, it's about, is your priority something that's robust at the price you want to pay versus high performance, lightweight, because you're probably competing.
Yes.
Which isn't most people, but it's available, right?
But on this is Rival. So with SRAM's range, they do Rival, which is the entry point into the E-Tap gear setup.
So that's an equivalent to 105 in Shimano?
I would say so,
roughly,
yeah, about that. And then you go into Force and then Red, which is SRAM's top model. But this is Force E-Tap, so really nice gearing. On Domane, it has a bit more of a climbing gear range, so a bit more versatile. It's not super for like flat sort of speed. You've got a lot of good climbing gear on it. So your components, really nice group set there. Wheels, these are the Bontrager Paradigm wheels, so nice, just all-round wheel set. They're tubeless out the box, so you can run them tubeless, or if you want to put inner tubes in, you can do that equally as well. The carbon frames have in-frame storage on these, so you can actually take that little pouch out, and the whole inside of the frame, you have a storage bag. You can choose to put maybe a packable jacket in there, some food, tools, so quite a handy
if you're doing those longer rides, that's exactly what it's all about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about removable stuff, I didn't just touch on the electric gears, but it's all run off batteries and it's rechargeable batteries. So both the front derailleur and the rear derailleur both have the rechargeable batteries there. So they're interchangeable as well. So for example, one ran out, which you shouldn't do because one of these has about 20 hours of ride time.
I suppose when you think though, you're changing your gear on the back far more frequently than you are on the front, aren't you?
Yeah.
So the chances are you might want to, you might drain the rear battery before you do the front. So swapping them out makes sense.
Yeah, you know, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
But it's always it's handy to know that you can just swap them out. So that's a really nice feature. Just going through the rest of the bike. It's aluminium handlebars on this and stem. You could swap out for carbon if you wanted to make the bike a bit lighter. Like I said, we've got ISO speed on here, carbon seat post, and then it's all really tricked out with kind of Bontrager, which is Trek's own brand sort of gear, which is really good gear actually. The one nice thing with how Trek do their fixing points is they've just basically wanted to make the bike really streamlined and sleek. So you'll notice we've got a couple of mounts on this bike currently. So from the Bontrager stem, they've just put some nice little mounting points where you can put your computer on there, or a daytime running light. Daytime running lights are a key thing to definitely consider at the minute. You'll notice cars driving around, they've all got the lights on all the time. So if you want to be on a bike, you want to be seen, especially if you're commuting. So like the saddle here, that's got a nice little bracket on the back that's actually mounted to this saddle bag that you can put your daytime running light on the rear. Then you've got it on the front, which is also doubled up as a Garmin mount. So super neat and tidy, super slick, but you've got all your kind of accessories on there as well. Domane as a model, like going back to the versatility side of things, it has fixing points all over it. So obviously you can run mudguards on there. You've got fixing points on the top, so if you wanted to put a top tube bag on, that's absolutely fine. Obviously 2 water bottle cages, in-frame storage. It's yeah, you can make it what you want.
It's a cracking bike.
You could strap it up to the nines to take all your stuff to work. You could go do a gravel adventure on it, or you could make it a really fast performance bike to go and race your mates. So
if it's good enough for the Paris-Roubaix, it's quick enough, isn't it?
Exactly.
So there you go, guys. I suppose one last question people might be asking is just what the entry point is, Al. So if I want to get on a Domane, where do prices start?
So for the AL2, I think about £700-800
right, okay.
At the minute. So that's
sub £1,000 to get on a Domane.
Yeah, exactly. This particular bike here is 4.6, so that is kind of the mid-level carbon with pretty nice components on it.
Digital gears.
Yeah, exactly. So this is quite high-end, lovely colour as well, and then you can go all the way up to £10,000-11,000 if you want to go absolutely crazy. Yeah.
So there you go, guys. The road bike that pretty much everybody should be buying. If comfort's your priority, if you're planning a sporty, if your first year of serious miles, then this could be an absolutely incredible choice. Domane, I guess you've got Domane in stock here?
Yeah, so in the store we have a Monda and Domane in all sizes all the time, so you can test ride any of these bikes, so make sure we're getting the right size. That's key, especially on road bikes. So yeah, if you want to come and try anything in store, more than welcome to give you a test ride on anything. And I think we're going to do another video on the Amonda, so the more faster, lighter bike. So that'll be coming up. If it's not already out, scroll through the channel, see if you can find it, but we're going to be doing the Amonda video shortly.
Absolutely, and we'll include a link to that in this video.
We will.
So we hope that's been useful. You now know a bit more about Trek Domane. Look out for the video Al mentioned on Amonda. Like and subscribe, follow us, and obviously when you're doing your research online, great, go and do that, but we're really encouraging everybody, as Al said, to come down and visit the shop. We've got 300 bikes in the shop here, all of them available to test ride, because we just believe wholeheartedly that getting on that bike and making sure it's the perfect fit is the key to miles more smiles.
Absolutely.
So you know, get yourselves down here, come and see Al, meet Mike, meet Ollie and the team, and they'll give you that bike fit and make sure you walk away with exactly what you're looking for. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Cheers.